Hello and welcome to another edition of Lab Rats. My name is Andy Walker.
I'm Sean Carruthers.
And this is a show where we demystify technology for you, the world of computers and laptops, and most recently a whole lot of mobile stuff.
Mobile kingdom, we should call ourselves.
That's right, exactly. The Dukes of Mobile, the land of mobile. We've done a lot of iPhone stuff, and of course, lately, Android, the operating system from Google, has been coming out on a bunch of different phones, really taking the world by storm. So, sort of turned our focus a bit to this new operating system because really it's growing in popularity. There's lots of you out there in Lab Rats land, clearly have been buying Android phones, and as well as there's still the Apple camp out there. But we just started to focus in on this because it's really been a real phenomenon.
Yeah, when they were talking back in the early days that the robots would eventually take over, they just sort of got it a little bit wrong. It wasn't the mechanical ones.
No, that's right, exactly. It was the operating systems on the mobile devices. So, so today we thought, and in my zest to get excited about Android, I actually got rid of my iPhone.
Oh.
And I bought a Nexus S, a Google phone. Kind of if you're going to be buying a Google phone, or an Android phone, this is kind of the go-to device, right? Certainly you can buy some of the other branded phones, but really this is kind of the platform where it all started. And this is the fastest phone that sort of comes directly from Google. Now Samsung makes this device, but it's really sort of the Google flagship, as it were, in terms of the Android world.
It's pretty.
It's very pretty, right? So spending a little bit of time with it, and when I realized, that it's a little bit different than the iPhone world, but certainly, and there are things that you need to know about it to really use it effectively. So today we're going to do, startup tips. If you're going to switch from the iPhone to one of these devices, we're going to show you sort of some of the key tips you need to remember or to understand to kind of get started quickly.
Good.
All right.
I'd feel a little bit lost potentially.
Well, yeah, given that you don't have one of these phones yet.
Yeah.
But you can kind of be the Apple pundit today and complain about it as we go.
Okay.
If you like, or go ooh and ah where appropriate.
We'll see.
All right. All right. Let's take a break. When we come back, 10 startup tips for your Android phone. Well, before we get started with the Android startup tips, of course, we want to talk about one of our sponsors, which is Microsoft today. Woohoo! Exciting. The brand new Internet Explorer 9 browser is now available, and we're going to talk to you a little bit about it. It's of course, the latest in a long line of browsers from Microsoft, and I would argue the best one so far.
One would hope. You're always supposed to evolve and get better and better and better.
Well, they do, and I think this one's they've really nailed it with this one. One of the key things that they're talking about with this browser is, it renders the web beautifully and fast. It uses hardware acceleration on Windows 7, so you're going to get a really great experience in terms of the content, the page rendering, video, audio, those kinds of things. All that sort of robust, rich media on the web. Is done really nicely by IE9. Lots of new controls, add-on manager, a whole new tab structure, lots of security features. Really a very, very good browser.
You can pin things to other things in it.
Do you like that? You
I like pinning things.
You do, yeah. It's exciting for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the other stuff too, but
that's right. Anyway, so we encourage you to go and at least go check it out. I think you'll have a great experience, especially if you're using one of the older Internet Explorer browsers, or even one of the competing browsers. Certainly, IE9 is worth a try. So zip on over to labratsonline.com/IE9, labratsonline.com/IE9. It'll take you directly to a place where you can download a copy and try it for yourself. So there you go.
Very good.
Good stuff. Okay, now let's get started with the Android startup tips. So the best place to start, I thought, was I've been reading a lot lately about how Android may actually be the first mobile platform to really be a concern for people around malware and viruses.
Oh, why are we switching to this? That seems like a bad idea.
It seems like a bad idea, but if you can have an open platform with lots of developers and the freedom that is provided by Android, of course, the iPhone is locked down, highly policed by Apple, for good reason, and as a consequence, much more secure. So it's a trade-off, right? It's like open platform, the ability to do whatever you like in terms of development, but then opens it up for folks out there to take advantage of those loopholes.
I guess you think about it this way. There's a lot of potential threats out there in the world of Windows, but you don't stop using Windows just because of that. You protect yourself against it. There's more good reasons to use Apple, or to use, oh, see, there's my Freudian thing coming out, more good reasons to use Windows if you're a Windows fan than there are to just say, no, I'm not doing this anymore.
That's right. So you know, one of the things that I started with right away, because I'd heard of these, is, okay, well, is there really viruses? And the answer is actually no. There's not a lot of viruses. In fact, there's no viruses, but there's malware. So there's ill-conceived apps you can download that can exploit your email address book and do sort of some nasty things from that perspective. So malicious malware or malicious software has popped up on the Android platform. So it's worthwhile to download this. I have an antivirus product here from AVG. You may be familiar with those guys. They do a lot of they do a really good free antivirus for the PC platform. So if I touch this here, you know, it looks like a big pill. Really, it's a big antidote. But what happens is once this is installed, it will actually scan your downloaded apps as they come down, just to make sure that they're not full of nasty things.
Right. So if you've downloaded something by mistake and not realizing that it's a piece of malware, it'll say, hey, wait, hold on.
That's right, exactly.
Okay.
Now, there's a free version of this, and there's also a pro version of it for a few dollars. And you know, so far I've used the free version. It seems very easy to use. It doesn't bog down the system or anything like that. The pro version kind of takes some extra features, and check it out for yourself. So that's now here's one of the things I wanted to mention about that. So what is it doing here? It's basically policing for apps that, you know, might do some nasty things. Now, you don't actually have to have an antivirus product or an anti-malware product installed here. If you pay attention to the permissions on the marketplace when you're going to download an app. So if I fire up the marketplace here, let me just do that for a sec. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna fire that up. And I'm going to show you where to look. So here's the market here. So I'm going to click on market. And then I'm going to pick this. And I'm going to say download. So what you're going to see is you're going to say it's going to try to access various things. It'll give you the list of, you know, it says allow this application to access the following things. Right? So if you read that really carefully, are you going to allow it to access your email book, for example, or your address book kind of idea? So you just want to read that very carefully. But if you don't want to read that all the time, and you know who does, then you want to install an anti-malware product to make sure this is okay.
So a lot of these malware things are going to tell you that they're going to do bad things right off the bat, but you just say, yeah, whatever.
Right. They have to declare it. But anyway, yeah, we tend to be lazy. So that's one of the key things. Now, here's another thing that I came across. This is a true multitasking platform. You can put lots of apps running simultaneously in this system. And, but of course, if you put too many things in memory, you can run into some memory problems.
Yeah, a few.
As you would imagine. Earlier versions of the Android operating system didn't manage that well. In version, I think it's 2.2 and beyond, there's a better management tool. So I'm going to show you how to do that manually. I'm going to show you a little app that actually can help you with the process. So if we go to settings here, and we're going to go down to applications, you should look at a couple places. First, look at the battery usage, because this shows the different apps that are running in background and, you know, how much battery they're consuming. So if you see, for example, here, Maps is running in the background. It's using 2% of my, it's grabbing 2% of my battery power at any given time. What you want to do is look for applications that are sitting there in the background and are actually consuming battery power.
Yeah, that's because they're sitting there even though you're not using them, and they're running and using up CPU cycles on the handset.
That's right, exactly. Now, if you identify one, then you can go to running services, identify the app. Let's say Google Maps here. And then you can say stop. And OK. And that will kill it out of memory, which is kind of handy, right? Now, there is an easier way to do this. There is a free application that I came across, and it is available right here. It's called the Advanced Task Killer. And it shows you all the applications that are running in memory right now. And then you can actually select each one and then go kill apps. So let's do that.
Okay, so not necessary, but a nicer way to do this.
It's a nicer way to do it, an easy way to manage it in an effective kind of way there. So two ways to do that.
Very cool.
All right.
All right. So what's next?
One of the things that I really like about the Android operating system is the way it handles shortcuts. So if I touch on the screen on the wallpaper here, you'll see that I can add to the home screen shortcut widgets, folders, and wallpapers. Now shortcuts is kind of cool. So I add that. There is something called a direct dial. So if I add direct dial here, this will list everybody in my contact list. So what I've done here is I've added you right here, top right-hand corner here. So there's a picture of you, your icon. It says Sean, and when I touch that, it will direct dial you. So I'm going to cover your telephone number here so nobody can see it, because we don't want everybody calling you in the middle of the night making prank calls to Sean Carruthers. But as you can see, it's dialing you, right? And there you go. And there's me calling you. So there you go.
I'm going to say no to this because, oh wait, I just answered.
It's okay, I just
Hey, I'm busy. I'm taping an episode. Okay.
There you go, kill it. And so a nice little way to actually wire in instantly calling somebody using a shortcut. And there's all kinds of other things you can do in there. You can add widgets, you can add wallpapers and that sort of thing. But again, just to review that really quickly, again, you touch the wallpaper, and then you can choose what you're going to do.
Great. So a lot of shortcuts for things that you do on a regular basis that aren't necessarily apps.
Yes,
okay.
Exactly.
Very good.
All right, good. Let's talk about now. One of the things I discovered about the Android operating system that I really like, and is actually better than the iPhone. I know. I spoke the bad words there, but this is what the iPhone cannot do. So if you could look across the top here, there are tiny little icons in that gray bar. That's called the notification bar. It's like what's going on, in the phone. And if I stroke down here, you can actually see various tasks that have occurred, events basically. So here you'll see there's a new voicemail waiting for me. There's my friends in Foursquare have checked in somewhere. There are other suggestions from the other apps, an app to review from Chomp, the Dolphin browser's being installed, things like that, right? So it's all the latest things that have happened. It's a good place to look if you have a voicemail or if you've had like a text message arrive and that sort of thing.
Right, whereas with the iPhone, which is one of the things that I've disliked about it for the longest time, is if things are happening in apps, you have to scroll through to each of the apps and open them up to see if it's there, or maybe there's a little notification icon or notification number on the icon saying there's a new event in that, but then you have to open up the app to find out. Whereas this sort of puts it all in one place. You can see that stuff is actually happening in need of attention, and then scroll down, swipe down to see what it is.
Exactly. Now,
I will give you that. I love
iOS
that.
5, we might see that though, no?
Possibly.
Possibly. So again, just you stroke down from the bezel up top here, and then stroke back up to hide it.
That is one of the things that's in desperate need of an overhaul, because I think all of the other major mobile platforms do something like that now.
Right.
So.
Absolutely. Now, do you text message people?
I do.
Okay, so I can tell you right now that the stock SMS app on Android operating system sucks. It just sucks.
That's not good.
No, it does not. No, I really hate it.
It doesn't seem like a feature.
No, it's actually a bug. That said, there is an alternate, which we actually mentioned on an earlier episode, called HandSend. So quite like this one instead. It's called the HandSend app. And lots of cool little features on that. The problem with this app is it takes a little while to load. However, it's a really handy app.
So if I recall correctly, it gives you other emoticons and a much nicer skin to this whole process.
Absolutely.
So it's not boring.
Not boring at all. It's good. So
good.
HandSend free in the App Store, in the Marketplace App Store. Browsers now on Apple, can you get alternate browsers? I don't think.
You can get Opera on there, but the selection is pretty limited.
It's pretty much Safari, or Safari.
Yeah, Apple wants you to use Safari. I'm not sure how Opera got away with it, but
clearly they did. I guess they don't want the antitrust issues maybe from the past.
Yeah, we let Opera do it. Nobody cares about Opera.
That's right. So on the Android operating system, there's an option to install Firefox, which is nice. Opera, of course, is available, and then something called Dolphin HD, which is getting a lot of attention these days. Just used it actually to load the Butterscotch site, and it actually does quite a nice job.
So it does all the HTML5 and all the other things you'd expect in modern browsers?
That's right.
Very good. So
cool.
You're not stuck with the stock browser?
That's right. Yeah, very nice.
Okay.
Like that a lot. Okay. Let's kill that. I don't know about you, but I use my phone for more than just making telephone calls and playing with apps. I also
making phone calls. What's that?
Exactly. As I like this thing, I have found, and whenever I go to my door, if it's dark, I need a flashlight, so I can find the keyhole, right? So of course, like on the iPhone, there is an app called Flashlight. This is free as well. And it basically lets you use either the LED light with your camera, or you can use the screen as to light the way as well. Let me see if I can get that going again, because I just killed it. Flashlight. So I can turn it on like this.
Oh.
And you can see
there's on the back
that it's lit there. Kind of handy. Or you can also do some other things. You can, a warning light. You can run.
So another kind of light, so you can hold it above your head and then run around like you're a police car.
Yes, exactly. You can do that if you want. There's a light bulb you can dim and that sort of thing. Yeah, it's just a fun little app. So
yeah, I do remember back in the early days of these apps, Flashlight, before there were flashes on the back of the phones, just consisted of a white screen.
A white screen on, yeah, exactly.
You just flashed and held it on something.
Which was very effective, of course,
kind of effective, not as good as the actual flash on the back. So I'm glad they're using that now.
Good stuff.
Okay, what else you got?
So one of the things you want to do is okay, the other thing, you have different home screens. This is your home screen here, stroke to go across. So you can have different screen configurations for different apps, that sort of thing. If you touch and hold, you can add widgets. Widgets are kind of handy little applets. So there's a clock there, or calendar, stuff like that. You can choose a widget and actually run it in a larger little kind of mini app configuration.
The nice thing about this is that if you install a full-on application, some of them come with their own little widgetlets that you can install and tap into those applications.
That's right.
As well.
So let's put to the Google search.
So in other words, your home screen doesn't just have to consist of icons for apps.
No, it has little widgets that kind of float around, so no more than just just icons and that sort of thing.
Add extra functionality.
That's right. And then finally, you're not gonna. I didn't like the standard, ringtones on here. I didn't like the standard wallpapers and that sort of thing. So I found.
Sounds kind of like you didn't like Android.
It's highly customizable. But I did like it. Like functionally, it's great, but you have to add some stuff on to really make it useful, right? At least, especially if you come from the iPhone, where there's a lot of stock stuff that's already built in. So this is called Zedge, and this is just like a library of things that you can add, including ringtones, thousands of wallpapers, thousands of notification sounds, things like that. So you're not going to want, like your ringer, probably. You're going to want to change it. So that's what I did. So that's Zedge. That's free.
Very good.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, we'll talk about a way to do customized ringtones in a more detail for
we should probably
platforms.
cover that up, because it's increasingly a more important thing.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, if you're used to not being able to do ringtones on your iPhone, you haven't been looking recently, as I hadn't. So there are new ways to do it that are a little bit easier than you used to. It used to be a kludge, but there's a few ways, and we'll show them off on iPhone as well as Android.
In the future, good, yeah. Oh, one other thing I should mention is Google Contacts. So this is, of course, uses your Gmail and your contacts. You're going to want to go onto Gmail, click on the contacts area, and clean all that up. I discovered that I had like multiples of your number and that sort of thing. Through the syncing process with whatever, iPhone seems to add all kinds of crazy additions to that when you sync.
Yeah, the thing that is really nice with Google is if it stores your contacts in the Google Docs and their behind the scenes thing. When you first get your Android phone, you put in your Google ID, and it just downloads all of that stuff, custom configures your docs and your email and all that. And unfortunately, if you've got like 16,000 email and phone contacts in there, and a lot of them are duplicates, well, you're going to get all of them.
That's right.
So yeah, it's a good idea to prune
all the extras and that sort of thing, and do it on your computer. Don't do it, go into your browser, open up Gmail, go into contacts, clean it out there. Don't do it on this. This will take forever. Yeah.
So probably a good idea before you set up your phone to make sure that it's all good to go.
Or you can do it after too. It's not a big deal. It just drives you a bit crazy when you're looking for somebody to call, and you've got to scroll through like 5 versions of somebody else's phone.
I have done that, even on the iPhone, unfortunately.
Right. There you go. All right. So there you go. There's 10 tips, 10 startup tips for your Android OS. I hope you enjoyed that. So let's take a break. When we come back, we've got Clip of the Week and, of course, your pictures as well. Welcome back to Lab Rats. So I would say to you that in terms of Android, I'm actually pretty darn impressed. I thought I was going to shift over, be kind of lukewarm about it, and then when iPhone 5 came out, switch back.
You might still want to go for the iPhone 5.
We'll have to see what it's going to be like. But really, I have to tell you that I'm happily surprised.
Yeah. So you didn't look at it and say, "Yeah, I'll just ride this
it
one
didn't
out.
drive me crazy. No,
Yeah.
exactly. No, I'm not tolerating it. I'm actually thrilled about it. It's really great. It's really good. It's a really good iPhone alternative, especially for those that want the things that are missing on the iPhone. You know, like flash capability and, you know, those kinds of things. Really, really good. A really good experience. Nexus S for sure.
And it plays Angry Birds?
And it plays Angry Birds.
Okay, okay. Maybe.
Maybe, that's right.
Still going to buy me one?
Yeah, if you want one. Thinking. We'll see.
Yeah, there's like a bar over my head processing. I'm about here. I need to get over to here.
That's right.
And then I'll let you buy me one.
Okay. Okay, good. All right, so let's, speaking of fantastic Android stuff, we have a show called Android Weekly. It's hosted by a guy called Andrew Moore Crispin, one of our dear friends and co-workers here. A weekly news show on the Android, everything Android. And we'd like to show you a clip right now so you can get a taste of it. If you're into Android, this is maybe a great place to, you know, stay up on what's hot and happening in that world. So let's take a look at that. And when we come back, your pictures.
Welcome on deck. I'm Matt Harris.
Hi, I'm Jay Goldman.
Welcome to the A-List.
Hi, welcome to Miss Download.
If you've got a rooted Android device, you're out of luck when it comes to using the recently released Android Movies service. Predictably, digital rights management, DRM, is to blame. Rooted users are apparently blocked from Google Movies for Android, as in theory, rooted users could access the movie files and in turn pirate them. Google should have been able to explain to the powers that be that blocking rooted Android users isn't the answer. As we point out in our newsfeed, anyone savvy enough to root their Android phone and install a custom ROM is very likely savvy enough to fire up a torrent client and grab any movie they want.
So if you'd like to see more about Android Weekly or check it out, I mean, it's certainly available on iTunes, it's available on Roku, it's available on Boxy, and of course, butterscotch.com would be the place to go and see it on the web. That's our site where we keep lab rats and everything else. Quick shortcut to it, androidweekly.tv if you want to get there, or butterscotch.com/androidweekly. So check out that. We'd love to for you to subscribe and come back and see it on a regular basis and be, you know, the Android expert that Andrew Moore Crispin is as well.
One great show, so many ways to watch it.
There you go. All right, so now, well, I was going to say your pictures, but as it turns out, nobody emailed us any pictures this week.
Yeah, we are waiting, so you need to send your pictures.
That's right.
The bag is empty right now.
The bag is empty. So we're going to see one of my pictures.
One of your pictures.
Yeah.
So we have it right here. So we have our friend Biffer. And where's Boo?
Well, this is the two Satan eyes in behind.
Wait, that's Boo?
That's Boo.
I thought that was some sort of
Spectre?
bag of evil or something.
Yes, it's called Bag of Evil Cat. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you can tell that he's evil because he's close to the flames.
That's right. So you may remember Biff and Boo, of course, from earlier episodes when we used to shoot in my loft. These guys are going bigger, and I think they're now approaching, I think they're 5 years old now.
5 years old, that
still
is crazy.
happily ensconced in my place and loving every minute of it. So there you go. They're sitting by the fire. That's a nice little cozy picture. This was sent in by Andy Walker. He's from Toronto, and the cats are called Biff and Boo. Do I pass?
Yes, these are the things you should do when you send in a photograph.
There you go. There you go. All right. So if you'd like to send your pictures in, you can email them to
Flaming bag of evil at labrats.tv.
And more simply,
feedback at labrats.tv.
feedback@labrats.tv. There you go. All right, so let's see your pictures, and you can, of course, send your videos in if you want to send videos. One of these days, I'll shoot a video of these guys, and maybe we'll share that on the show, too. Sound good to you?
Pretty good. People have been asking.
Yeah, they have been asking, actually. So there you go. So that's it for this week. I think that was a great episode, if I do say so myself.
You just did.
There you go. So thanks for watching This Week in Pushing Play. My name is Andy Walker.
I'm Sean Carruthers.
It'd be foolish for us to be here with our Android phones if you weren't out there with your iPhone going, maybe I should switch.
Maybe.
Anyway, okay, maybe we'll catch you next time.
Are you ready?